All right. Zelda today. uh, let's see. No, I think we pretty much covered everything. Actually, what do you No, we talked about your favorite Zelda game. When you yeah, so we did that already. Um, yeah, I guess we've kind of covered everything for now, at least. Anyway, actually, I've got a question for you. What do you think of the rumored Zelda Wii U? Do you think that's ever going to happen, or do you feel like they're going to just leave it to the NX at this point? I mean, there's supposed to be this game coming out for the Wii U, the Zelda game, this massive Zelda game. It's just called Zelda Wii U at the moment. I don't think it actually has a title. But now with the NX rumored and seemingly very likely now at this point to be coming out this year, there doesn't seem to be much point in putting a Zelda game on the Wii U, because if you're gonna have the if you're gonna put a Zelda game on the Wii U, then who's going to buy an NX? But then if you put it on an NX, then you're going to have a whole bunch of pissed off people who bought the Wii U, thinking there's going to be the Zelda Wii U game coming for it. Which, by the way, just as a side note, you should never buy a console on a promise of a game that wait till the game is released, then buy the console. Don't buy the console because you think a game is going to come out. Wait for the game to be released, then buy the console and that game. But yeah, a lot of people bought the Wii U because they thought the Zelda game was going to come for it, and it looks like that may not happen. And they might do something like what they did with Twilight Princess, yeah, where they released it on the GameCube and the Wii. They might do something like that, but depending on what they plan on doing the game, it depends on how good an idea that is. Because I'd assume whatever the NX turns out to be, in the end, they're probably going to get rid of that tablet design. So if the Zelda game was designed with a tablet in mind, then could that be portable over to whatever types of controls the NX ends up using? Where there are all these rumors about screens on the controller and whatnots and things. So how translatable would it be to be able to just make the controls suitable for that? I mean, I'd imagine it's not impossible, but would it work in any real way? Yeah, exactly. So it seems to me that if they are definitely it's still technically a rumor about Wii U coming out this year. It just seems like it's a likely rumor. So if they are going to be releasing the NX this year, I would say the best thing for them to do is forget the Wii U and just release Zelda on the NX and make the controls as suitable for the NX as they possibly can. That would be my thing, because the Wii U was a disaster. You know what I mean? No matter how you look at it, the Wii U was a disaster, and I think at this point they need to just. It looks like they're going to just abandon shit. I mean, I still think, in all honesty, I think the best thing for them to do is to wait off on the NX, let the Wii U die out as much as possible, and then release the NX in maybe 2-3 years, and then have it competing with the next, Xbox and the next PlayStation. Because right now they're going to be competing with PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and those are possibly about halfway through their life cycles, maybe a little bit more than halfway through their life cycles at this point now. So do you really want to be competing with consoles that are, on their way out as well? Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think at this point they need to wait a few years and let the Wii U suffer their losses. It is what it is. It was a disaster. It sucks, but take the loss and then come back in a few years with the NX, absolutely blow everybody's minds with the power of it, with the design of it, with the creativity of it, with the forward thinking of it, all that stuff, that all the things that fans want, plus everything that fans, plus a whole bunch of things that fans didn't expect. Have the, use the time to make Wii, the Wii game for the NX to so it controls in that as well as possible. So people would be thinking, man, I just can't imagine this game in any other way. That's what I think they really should be doing. But it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that. It looks like they are going to be releasing the NX this year. And if they are going to be doing it this year, then, well, just cut off the Wii U altogether, I think. Just cut it off and just release Zelda on the NX and just do what you can and hope for the best. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Right, yeah. And just have it on the NX and just like blow everybody out of the water, you know what I mean? Just have this powerful machine, this creative machine. Yeah. Just take my money now, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what I think they should do. I don't think that's what they're going to do, but that's what I think they should do. Yeah, yeah. And they apparently they're going to be talking more about it this year, the coming months. We should know. There should. Apparently, I've read somewhere that there should be a major announcement at June, which I guess is going to be E3. It just said June. It didn't specifically say E3, but that June is E3 time. So we should, at the very least, know something by then as to. But I don't know. It just seems such a rush. Like if you're, because they pretty much announced it. I mean, I think rumors start circulating in a big way about middle of last year, and then it was like, yeah, we're going to release it in 2016. That became another rumor a bit later on, and that's how we're supposed to know more about June, and potentially it's going to be released by the end of this year, by Christmas 2016. And it just seems like that's such a rush. I mean, how long? Because I yeah, like I would assume that on some level they'll start planning the next console as soon as the Wii U was released. Because any company, as soon as you release one machine, pretty much right away, within a fairly short period of time, you take a little break, but you come back a short while later and you start thinking, okay, what is the next step? And I can understand that, like, you already need to start thinking fairly early on about the things that you want to do next. But in terms of actually developing it, because the ideas they have at the beginning are going to be fairly premature, you know what I mean? So you're going to have, like, what are they literally just going to go off on these, because on these first few ideas they have, because that's what it seems like they're potentially doing if they're releasing it this year. The Wii U came out, what, 2-3 years ago, I think, something like that. And that's right. You know what I mean? It's exactly. It's not that long ago. It's quite as a young system. So if they're releasing a Wii U, an NX this year, that means they would have had to have it thought of, designed, and gone into production by pretty much now, or within a few months from now. If they haven't even started production yet, then they might have a troubled launch. So it seems like I would much rather they stretch out the generation as much as possible because there's rumors of a PS4 coming out quite soon as well, which I think is too early for a new PS4. Potentially another Xbox 2 as well in the next few years. Again, I think that's too early. I think, in fact, to be honest, I felt like the previous generation ended a bit too early as well. And the problem is when you have, as you say, games can take a while to produce, especially when you're looking at what can you do with the current systems. I think they need to give these things time, and the PlayStation 4 is doing really well right now. There's no rush on the next console. They just need to like take their time. They should be thinking about the next console, absolutely, but they don't need to rush a next console. They just need to take the time, think about what they want to do, come out in a few years, well, more than a few years rather, and then blow people's minds with the next PlayStation. But it just seems like nobody wants to do it now. Everybody wants to move forward. We want to take advantage of, because 4K resolutions and so on. And it's like, okay, granted, I get why you want to take advantage of that, but that's still going to be around in a few more years. You know what I mean? There's no rush for 4K, I feel. It's like, come on, you don't need to rush a console just for the sake of 4K. And then what? What else do you have? 4K resolution? How many people even have 4K TVs? You know what I mean? So it's like, what is the point of rushing it just for the sake of capitalizing on 4K? 4K will still be around in 5 years, 6 years. And in fact, they may even have something better than 4K at that point, which you could capitalize on. So it's like there's no need to rush for this one piece of technology. But it just seems everybody wants to rush. I get why Nintendo wants to rush because their Wii U was a disaster. Even though I still feel they need to wait a little bit longer, I understand why they want to rush. But everybody else, there's no need for PlayStation to rush. There's no need for Xbox to rush. Wii U, I get why they want to rush. It's a bit more of a need for them to do it. I still think they should wait, but there's a little bit more justifiable at least. The Xbox, sorry? The Xbox, yeah. So what do you mean? Oh, right. In terms of, right. It's not doing as badly as the Wii. I mean, it's not as doing as well as the PlayStation 4. But to my knowledge, it's not doing as badly as the Wii. So it's certainly not a disaster that the Wii U was. I mean, granted, yeah, the Wii U had some spikes with Mario Maker and Splatoon, but overall, it was pretty lacking. I think Xbox has done at least quite a bit better than that. But yeah, they're playing catch up to everybody's playing catch up to PlayStation right now. Yeah, and they've got PlayStation VR. We should know more about that soon. I don't know when it's being released, but you should know more about that soon. And that looks pretty awesome. Hopefully, it's not as expensive as the Oculus Rift, but it looks pretty cool. I should hope so because I mean, to be fair, actually, PlayStation have a good. I mean, a lot of their peripherals tend to be cross-platform, like their headsets work cross-platform. So I think there's no reason why I shouldn't make this cross-platform into the next generation because I personally wouldn't want to spend. I mean, I could probably justify, say around 250, 300 if it's going to be compatible with, say, PlayStation 5 and even potentially PlayStation 6. I could justify 300 in that case. But if it's going to be compatible only with a PlayStation 4 and they want, say, 400 quid for it, no way, absolutely not. It needs to be no more than 150. I'd say at that point. That'd be my max if it's going to be compatible only with a PlayStation 4. And even then, there'd have to be some killer games for me to want to spend that money on it, because I wouldn't want to buy it and just play some shitty games on just because it's in VR. You know what I mean? It needs to have some substantial games that are going to make me think, like, you know what I mean? It's going to have like games that make me feel like I felt when I played Zelda the Ocarina of Time. If it's going to be like that. But yeah, that's I guess. That all waits to be seen.